The AP poll is out, and the Purdue Boilermakers remain number one in the AP poll. There's a lot of discussion going on if maybe some teams were going to be able to jump them. Michigan, obviously, after their big players era week, where they beat every single person that they came up with by 40, including the team that is number 11 in the AP poll, by the way, in Gonzaga. But yeah, Purdue at one, Arizona at two, Michigan three, Duke four, UConn five. Louisville six, Michigan State Spartans up to number seven, eight Houston, nine BYU, 10 Iowa State to round it out. Dion, I don't even know if I got your thoughts on this as far as like who should have been number one in the AP poll. Obviously, Purdue wins their MTE. They blow out Texas Tech in great fashion. While on the other hand, Michigan does what they did at the Players era. Arizona might have the best resume in the country given the wins that they have. Do you think it was the right call for Purdue to remain number one?
Yeah, I think I think in a weird way, like I know they're not the reigning champs, but like to be the champ, you got to beat the champ, and they came in the season preseason number one, and I don't think they've done anything not to be number one. You play who's in front of you. Obviously, you schedule games, but like no one told Arizona to go to Connecticut and play UConn. So like I don't think they should get like a crazy, crazy, crazy award for it. It's a great resume builder. And the moment Purdue loses, I think UConn or Michigan should be number one. Don't get me wrong, but I think until UConn really does something, or excuse me, until Purdue really does something that knocks them off that pedestal, I think they should stay up there. But I did deem myself yesterday. I'm an official players era guy. I
That
think
was
it's more
that was
important.
about minus 9,000.
Yeah, I think it's more important than March Madness.
That okay, see now that's insane. That's insane.
And you get to go to Vegas, you get to win $1 million. You don't get to do none of that in March Madness.
I mean, you
Like,
get to win a national title.
so I look at it like this. We went to San Antonio last year,
Yeah.
and I mean this with all due respect to the Final Four and to San Antonio. Walter Clayton won that and got to go on a float on a river.
Riverfall slapped.
The river float did like went crazy. Yaxel one had $1 million in Vegas. I mean, such an easy choice for me. It's such an easy choice.
Hey, it's a semi-fair point, but I think look, when you look at the AP poll, I feel like they do factor in the like the preseason type thing, like the preseason rankings. And the fact of the matter is Purdue was the preseason number one team and they have not lost. They haven't lost. Now have they had did they I don't know, slipping my mind. Moment of clarity here. I'm pretty sure I got the flu, so my brain is cooked and my body's cooked right now. Purdue's been number one the whole time, right? Or did they lose it for a
No.
week?
So they fell to two, and I want to say Houston was one
And then
because
Houston,
remember when they played Oakland like close and everybody freaked out?
yeah, and then Houston went up to one. Yep, you're right. And then now Houston's at eight with the loss that they took. But are there any surprises, I guess, in this AP poll? Just to name the rest of it, you have Iowa State 10, Gonzaga 11, Alabama 12, Tennessee 13, 14 Illinois, which was maybe a little bit surprising to me. 15 Florida, UNC at 16, Vanderbilt 17, Kentucky 18, Texas Tech 19, Auburn 20, and then to round out 20 through 25, you have Kansas, Indiana, St. John's, USC, and then Arkansas is down there holding on for dear life.
I think the biggest surprise to be in the top 10, uh, who did BYU lose to?
BYU lost to UConn
Okay, that's fine then.
at the Garden.
But honestly, I think it might be Houston.
You think
Houston
Houston?
has not looked like a top 10 team to me.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Especially given like, you're looking at the resume of it too. Like Houston had a really bad players there, truthfully. Even the win over Syracuse, like Syracuse proceeded to lose by 35 to Iowa State. Um, and they lost to somebody else that's slipping my mind, but they just really didn't have that great of a showing. Even before that, like the game against Auburn was very, very close. Auburn, not a pushover by any means, but it's just they have not looked like the team that I think people thought they would be in the preseason. And you're looking at some of these other teams, like you can make an argument Iowa State should be ahead of Houston in my mind. Even a team like an Alabama, I think could probably have a slight case. BYU only loses to UConn. I'll say this because Greg brought this up the other day. Do you think UConn should be higher than five? I mean, they lost at home to Arizona, but it was without Terrace Reed. And outside of that, they have a good win against Florida. They've been pretty good this whole year. They have Kansas coming up. Maybe that'll mean a little bit. Do you think they should be higher? Or you feel like they're pretty good at five, right behind Duke at four?
I think they're good at five. First off, Florida, Gator boys stay mid.
Yeah,
So,
My Gator boys are figuring it out right now. But hey, you never know. Tonight they're going to Cameron Indoor. Who knows what they could do?
yeah, no, I do. Um,
Oh,
I definitely know what's gonna happen in that one. But I think I'm okay with it. Purdue, like I said, preseason number one, that Texas Tech win was impressive. They also Purdue has Purdue and Arizona have the only two true road wins of the grouping, right? Like with Purdue going to Bama, Arizona going to UConn. So I think those two being one and two makes sense. Michigan has the most impressive victories in my opinion at the players with the players era. And then Duke, I mean the way I don't want to say like the way they handled Arkansas, but like I feel like Arkansas gave them like an A plus performance, and Duke kind of just hit them with a bunch of jabs and said we'll win by decision, and did. And I want to say they might have even covered. Um, Duke is just impressive to me the way they win, and like I don't think we're getting like their best performances just yet. Um, so I think UConn's good right at five. They also like haven't really. I don't want to take anything away from them. I would like for them to play on the road a little bit.
yeah, I mean, eventually you got to, and I think it's early on, and these teams will get on the road eventually. It's obviously still a lot to play out here, and teams are starting to get into Big Ten play. I will say this: the one interesting thing about you know, the voting because they do release the first place votes on this. I believe Michigan. Let me not throw out some bad information here. Let's go ahead and double check our sources here. So the first place votes went like this: 40 went to Purdue, 15 went to Michigan, and 6 went to Arizona.
Whoa.
Which, once again, the first place voting always throws me off. So Arizona is number two, but they got less first place votes than Michigan. So need those AP voters to come outside to show me the rest of these ballots to see where people had Michigan or people had
Yeah,
Arizona.
my brain could never compute how that's possible.
Yeah, which is why I don't have the privilege of voting on the AP poll, and that 100% makes sense. Um, Last thing, who's the best team in the country?
Michigan.
Insane. Okay. It's not. So that's fine. Best team in the country is actually Michigan State as it currently stands. Only because you said no, it's still Purdue. It's still you gotta show respect to the number one team.
That's my point guard. That's our point guard. Like that.
That's our teammate.
That's our point guard. But I'll be honest, man, that Michigan team. I don't know. And I don't even think they figured out the three big lineup yet because Dusty hasn't realized if you just don't play Elliot Cadeau, that lineup works. And once Dusty realizes like we can deploy that like three big lineup just for like a 4 minute stretch while Elliot just sits down somewhere, man, imagine like Elliot, come here, you're gonna sit out for a little bit. Yaxel Demar Perez, Trey McKinney, Roddy Gale. It's
Yeah. No,
nasty.
look, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. I will say this though. Also, why do I always say I will say this? I need to get a new phrase.
I do want to bring one thing up with Michigan that's negative. Did you watch the post game interview like with TNT with
Yeah.
Dusty on the table and everything?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot. They're not retiring Weber and Jalen Rose's jerseys. I don't know if you saw like that portion of it where I forget what the guy's name was. He was like, "We got to get them in hanging in the arena," and Dusty's like, "It's happening soon." That was a lot. And shame on TNT for putting Dusty on the spot like that. The man just won $1 million. What is he supposed to say? Yeah, we're not retiring their jerseys. But that couldn't have been more clear of a lie. And like maybe it will happen now that he said it on national TV, but they didn't have plans to do that.
I love that people are putting Dusty on the spot. I think he needs to be put on the spot more, to be honest with you. I feel like he gets away with way too much. Is it crazy to think that Florida's disrespect, or sorry, not Florida, Arizona's disrespected at number two? They probably got the three best set of, UCLA win doesn't look as great right now, but like they won at UConn and beat Florida to start the year and beat UCLA in what was a damn near home game for UCLA.
So I think the UConn win is really impressive, but no Terrace Reed, like you mentioned. And Purdue went to Bama. And I think those, because Purdue went to Bama and then they beat Tech on a neutral, I think those are like more impressive to me than going to UConn without Terrace. And honestly, I mean, you know this, I've been out on Florida like since about May. So I don't know that I like take too much away from that Florida victory at this point. If anything, I think they let Florida hang around too much.
Yeah, but I mean, they beat the number three in the country at the time. I'm just saying, hey, to start the year, that's all I'm saying. I think I'm fine with where the AP poll's at right now. The first place votes still throw me off, but they got my Spartan Dogs up there in the top 10, which I enjoy. They got, I think, the correct teams at the top in the top five, which makes sense to me as well. But we'll see how it plays out. A lot of big games this week. Could be a lot of changes that happen this week, including my team, who will be playing the number four team in the country this Saturday at the Breslin. That'll be one to watch for sure. We'll obviously have more videos on the AP poll next week when the new one is released.